3 little whats? Chicks. So, who gets to pick first? Kai. All right, Kai, which one do you want? Hey guys, it's Josh, Porter Valley Ranch. We got a busy day today. Today is Friday, and our business, which opened up this week, typically does not have a lot of classes on Friday, and during the summer we don't have any classes on Friday. And right now we're running at about 20-25% of our normal enrollment, so we definitely do not have classes on Friday right now. So we're gonna get going. I got up early this morning, made sure business was all good up at the studio, went to Atwood's and got some stuff. So first thing is little Moses, our baby. He keeps disappearing, and usually that'd be all right. A lot of times the nannies will take the babies and they'll kind of hide them, especially when it's hot. It's going to be like 95 degrees today, so they'll hide them. What makes us nervous is that our property has a huge cliff right behind the goat pen. So for the bigger ones, it's fine, man. It's like exactly what their habitat is. But for little Moses, it kind of makes us nervous because we don't know if he gets down there, if he's gonna get stuck, kind of in like a little rock crevice or something. So we're gonna go find him. Yesterday he was missing for a few minutes. I went and found him, about gave me a heart attack. So today, kind of know where to look, I think, based on where she put him, but we're not gonna disturb him. We're just gonna find him, make sure he's okay, make sure he's not stuck. And then we've also got some new baby chickens. They had a sale at Atwood's on chickens, so I got some chickens for the boys. Even though I said we weren't gonna do chickens, we did. So I'm gonna give the boys the chickens, let them pick that out, get them settled. We gotta give the nannies some electrolytes. We've got to dig some holes. So we got a busy day, and we're just gonna kind of take you guys around with us and see what happens. So here is the quest for baby Moses. All right, here's Daisy. Daisy doesn't have Moses with her. All right, so I can hear Zeke in the woods yelling that he found him. So we're just gonna go look, and hopefully if she puts him in the same spot consistently, then that'll be nice because we'll know where he is. All right, so Zeke didn't know we were filming. We're kind of new to this YouTube thing, so he went and found Moses before we got to get a camera on it. So next time we'll show you, because the good thing is we now know where she's putting him. She's being consistent about where she's putting him, which is good because that means she's being intentional about where she's putting him. So the next time we can't find him, we will show you where he is. We moved him, which we probably shouldn't. If she's putting him in a spot, then her natural instincts are putting him there for a reason, because it's cool, it's safe, he's gonna stay there. So the next time we know that he's not up here with the rest of the animals, we'll show you where he is, but we're not gonna move him. We're just gonna leave him there because we want them to live out their natural instincts. So ours are Nubian ibex, which are mountain goats. They're wild animals. They have a little bit of domesticated bred into them, but they still have a lot of primal instincts that we want them to do. So that's kind of part of goat farming in our life, is teaching them to adapt to our world, but also teaching us and our kids to adapt to their world. So we're gonna move on to the next project, which is I went to Atwood's and they had some chickens on sale. For those of you who raise chickens, these were in what I call a bargain bin because they didn't know what they were. So we have some chickens, and we don't know what kind they are, but they were cheap and we bought them. So you boys come over here.
They're chicks.
They are chicks.
But you call them chickens.
Well, chicks who turn into chickens, or maybe they turn into roosters. We really don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. We have 3 little whats?
Chicks.
Chicks. So, who gets to pick first?
Kai.
Kai. All right, Kai, which one do you want? We have one, a little yellow one with a little brown head, and one with a little yellow mohawk. 3, 2. Okay, so yellow mohawk goes to Kai.
Who do you
What about you, Jetters?
I picked this little guy.
That little guy. And that little guy kind of looks like a turkey to me, but we'll see. Maybe he's not a turkey. Hold him with 2 hands like you're holding like a cup of water. Like that. Yeah, you gotta be real careful with them. They're kind of fragile. And Zeke, which one are you gonna pick?
The last one.
He's gonna pick the last one.
This one likes to close his eyes.
All right, so these are little chicks. We have tried chicks a few times in the past, and we weren't successful. One time Zeke tried to teach one how to fly, whose wings were banded. Do you remember that? You were pretty little. It didn't work out. So, so what we have, if you guys didn't see because we weren't filming yet, but we had a bottle baby named Lily, and unfortunately she died a couple days ago. We think she got bloated. It was kind of tragic for our family, but the good news out of that is we had purchased a dog kennel to keep her in because she was a jumper. She could jump out of our 4-foot fences even when she was only about 8 weeks old. So we have this little dog kennel that we're gonna put these chicks in. So we have a little starter cage first that we're gonna put them in, and then as they grow, hopefully they will take over the little dog kennel, and we can either get eggs, or if they're boys, then we'll do whatever you do with boy chickens. We don't really know yet. Anyway, so we're gonna watch them grow. All right, boys, put them back in the box. So to prepare our cage, we're gonna have to make sure that they have food and water. The cage is already in a nice shaded area. We are not gonna keep these in our house or in our garage because they are very stinky. And some of you guys are more farmy and earthy than we are and love having animals in your house. We do not. We do not think animals belong in the house. We think that kids belong in the house, and they are stinky enough. So animals stay outside at our farm. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this little thing here. It's a little taller than I would like, but it'll work. We're gonna fill it up with rocks and then put water in there. Do you guys know why we do that?
So that they can't drown.
So they can't drown. Chickens aren't very smart. They'll jump in the water, they'll drown. So we fill it up with rocks where they can get water in between the rocks, but not get all the way in there, okay? So you guys are going to go get some good little like marbly sized rocks and fill that up.
Can we get the ones out of the garden?
Go get them out of the driveway.
Hey, Mom. Hey. I
you gonna
could
film him getting
set
rocks
my
over
chick on the head, and he kind of liked it, so you can do it.
Jet, why do you have this water lid? Where's your
Where's my helmet?
Okay, so now get some smaller ones on top.
Okay, I got that.
Zeke, just put the bowl on the ground and let Jet help. Those are too small. Like a marble. Nope, Jet, not dirt. Marble size rocks, Jet, like this big. Look at my fingers, like this big around. Yep. Okay, that's probably good. All right, so we've got our rocks, and we're going to take it over to the pen. Come on, boys. Somebody get the chickens.
I got the chick. I will take the chicken.
And somebody get the bottle of water.
Okay. Where's the date? You don't want to know how?
Yes. All right, so this is where we're gonna put them, but we're gonna do the work outside because it's really shaded in there. So we're gonna kind of put it together right here. All right, so. All right, so put the rocks in there. We're gonna put that in later. Okay, so eventually we'll put some grass and like probably some little wood chips in there, but for right now, they're gonna be okay.
It is pretty old.
It is pretty old.
We've used this thing for years.
I think we got this when we had gerbils.
Yeah, we had guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs, which are gross. Right?
Never get guinea pigs. That was a mistake.
Alright, go ahead and pour some water into that little waterer.
Okay. Yes, sir. I got the water and I got the lid. And also the chips.
I'm sure you can buy like fancy chicken waterers and feeders and all that stuff, but based on our history with baby chickens, we're just going to do this as inexpensive as possible, and then as they grow we will get more fancy things. Alright, so you guys carefully get your chicken and set it in there.
Okay, this one is mine.
Mine is not very energetic at all.
Get two hands like this.
Just set them in.
Like this?
There you go.
No, like this.
Set them in, guys.
There you go.
Good work. Alright, we're going to put these wood chips in there, the shavings.
Now we're going to clear it.
Okay. Now the other thing we can do is we can leave this box in there. How you were keep getting in the way of the camera. We can put this box in there, and that way they can go in there in case they're kind of scared. They have like a little place to hide. Okay. He's all right. Like this. So we'll just kind of set it in there, and then once we get it in there, we'll put a little bit of feed right there on that lid. Okay.
And then when you're done with it, we're going to put it on the water.
What on the water?
On the lid.
No, we don't put the lid on the water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Should we put blocks in there so they can
Nope.
drink out of it?
Looks like Jess is the most awake.
That'll be perfect. Yours
Is mine the best?
Yours is either dying or falling asleep. We're not sure yet. All right, so we're going to set this in there, and then we will come check on them later today. Where we're putting them, you can see it has the little doghouse on one side and the barn on the other side, so they're going to be shaded pretty much the whole time because it's going to be really hot today, okay? All right?
He looks so tired.
He does not look good. I think he's gonna fall over.
I think he's alright. I think he's gonna fall asleep.
Okay, bring them some food.
I love chips. They're my favorite.
So Jed, are you gonna feed him every morning?
Today and
He probably will.
well, I just want to pet mine. Someone's gonna feed the chicks and someone's gonna feed the animals. I will feed the chicks.
Yeah, and then sprinkle it on their lid. Okay? Good. Just like that. Okay, I think they're good for now.
This is his helmet, and I'm going to draw it like today or tomorrow, but we will see, or I will use that kind of wood, the blue one over there. So here it is. It's a bottle lid, but it's a good helmet, so it's good.
I was gonna get them used to the water. I was gonna dip their little beak in the water.
They'll figure it out. All right, so behind me over here, you can see Daisy, and she's got little Moses. So he's nursing right now. Whenever nannies have a baby, when they have kids, it pulls them down quite a bit. Especially they're a lot later, or he's a lot later than most of ours. About 2 months after when the rest of them had babies. So they really need some electrolytes. So I bought this little pack of electrolytes. You can get it at Atwood's, Tractor Supply, local feed store. So we're gonna put some of this in, excuse you dogs, we're gonna put some of this in their water. That way it's kind of like Gatorade, so it'll help them have electrolytes and replenish their system so they don't get dehydrated, because for her to put out enough milk, especially when it's this hot, she really needs to get a lot of fluid. So this kind of encourages them to drink that water more too, because it's kind of salty for them, so they like it. So we're gonna put this in their water, and then we're gonna cut down some more trees that we started project the other day, and hopefully this will help Daisy produce enough milk for little Moses. So this packet says to dissolve half a package in 55 gallons of water. I am not going to put this in our big water container because it's really hard to, you're technically supposed to mix it every day. I'm not going to drain our huge water tank every day and remix this stuff. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this in this bucket. This is where especially the nannies and the little 2-month-old kids have been drinking out of. So I'm gonna put some of it in here, and we'll just keep mixing it up every day. That way they can drink out of that, and it'll be great. I guess you guys are gonna drink it too, because you are totally in the way. Move. Because we had to make sure that our goats had minerals. They need a lot of salt right now. They need salt so it helps them retain water when it gets hot. The other thing, a lot of people have different kinds of animals. Rumble's going crazy over there. We let Rumble out earlier today, and it took about 5 minutes before we realized he needed to go back in. So we're going to be calling the vet pretty soon and having him fixed. He's going to get castrated so he can become a wether, because he is definitely not ready to be back with the girls yet. Anyway, sidebar. Okay, so if you raise goats need copper. Copper helps them get rid of worms. There are barber pole worms. They were real bad in Oklahoma last year. They took out a couple really good goats. My dad had. He raises ibex. He's a couple years ahead of us, and they took out some of his really good ibex last year. So you got to make sure and stay on top of your wormer, but also copper helps them with that. So if you have sheep, copper's bad. Copper will kill sheep, but goats need it. So that's why here we only have goats. We do not plan on raising sheep because you need to feed them differently. You can feed a goat pretty much everything you feed a horse. They can even eat the dog food. They shouldn't all the time, but they can. It's not a problem. If you have sheep, sheep are very fragile when it comes to copper, and you're gonna have to be very careful of what you feed them. So if you look on this is a trace mineral. It has a cow, a goat, a horse, another cow, and a pig. So you can basically feed this to everything except sheep. So if you have sheep on your homestead or on your farm, do not get this. This is not the kind we usually get, but it works out. Trace minerals, this has some iodine in it, and that's okay. It's fine for all of these animals. Make sure you're giving them minerals. Make sure that they have it free choice. We put ours in this handy dandy Christmas tree holder. I picked these up for like $1 a couple years ago, and this one has a hole in the bottom. That way, if these minerals are out and it rains, that's okay. They'll get wet, and then the water will just drain right through. So you don't want to leave tons of it out because you don't want it to get wet. Every time it gets wet, it will lose some of its potency. It'll lose some of those things out of it. But it's okay if it gets wet. So we're just going to put about a quarter of this bag in here, and then we're going to watch it. And when it needs refilled, we're going to refill it. But we're going to leave these out all the time. We always do, and that way they can have their trace minerals and stay healthy. So make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're staying on top of what your animals need depending on what you have. But trace minerals and copper for goats are very important. So make sure you're feeding that to them as much as they need. So this is what it looks like. It's usually kind of a reddish color. This is a little bit lighter than what we usually get, but it's gonna be great. So they'll enjoy it. So feed your goats. All right, so I was talking to you guys earlier about Moses and how his mom, Daisy, would just kind of leave him places. So as you can see, nobody's up here except for Rumble. He's still pinned up, but all the other goats have gone off down in the canyon. They go down there, it's cool in the afternoon. But we're gonna walk over here and see if old Moses is right there. Hey buddy, what's going on? So see, he's just stayed up here, and he's been here for probably an hour by himself, and he hasn't made a sound because they know that if they're by themselves, they are vulnerable. So he is just laid down in the little playhouse and chilled. But he's not panting, which means that he's cool. His heart rate's down, which means he's not scared. He's doing real good. Hey, bud. So he's 4 days old now. His ears are still down. Eventually his ears will come up, but he's doing good. You can tell he's starting to put on a little weight. You can feel up here out towards their spine. He's starting to put on a little weight, which means he's getting fed well. So he's doing good. I'm going to leave him here so that his mom can come back and find him, and he knows that this is safe. It's got some hay in there so he can lay down. The other thing though is we're really trying to make as much contact with him as possible so that he's gentle. Some of the little ones we got from my dad's place, they don't have daily contact, so they'll come close to you, but they won't, let you pick them up and pet them. And whenever they're more gentle, especially if we have a small herd, which we do, the more gentle they are, the easier it is to work them, to check them, to doctor them. Where if they're not real gentle, anytime you need to do something, give them shots or something like that, it's real stressful for them. So we want ours to be very used to humans. That way it's easier to handle them and work them. Plus it's fun for the kids. I mean, a huge part of the reason we're in this is for our kids, and it's fun to look at them, but it's even more fun to be able to touch and to play with them. So we're not going to bottle raise him. We're going to let him, nurse on his mom, but we are going to try to get out here and lightly handle him as much as possible, just so that he knows that we are his friend. And as soon as he starts eating feed, we'll be feeding him out of our hand and stuff like that, so that he is gentle. So say hi, Moses. Say, what's up, everybody? What do you think? Yeah. Good boy. All right, we're going to put him back. You can go back to napping or whatever you were doing in there, little bud. All right, I'm gonna go cut down some more trees, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, so we've been working, cutting trees, burning them and mulching them, and it's hot. It's like 95, heat index of 105. So we started swimming, hanging out. Some cousins came over from Kansas City, and all of a sudden I noticed that the goats were moving down. And if you guys remember earlier, Moses was missing, and we went to look for him. Zeke found him before I had the camera ready. We're new to this whole YouTube thing, you have to excuse that. So anyway, I noticed that Daisy had taken him again down the woods, so I'm gonna kind of show you guys where she's putting him, because I think it's kind of interesting. You know, she doesn't leave him up here, she's actually taking him down into the woods, which makes me nervous, but that's her instinct. So it's the tree I've been working on. Cut it down. We've been cutting it into pieces for firewood and mulching the rest. So we got a little bit of firewood over here. So mulcher, here's our mulch pile. You can tell it's putting out some pretty good mulch. We're gonna use that for our Back to Eden garden next year. We got our burn pile, so anything that's too big or gnarly to put into the shredder, we're just burning it, and then we'll mix that, those ashes, that charcoal, we'll mix that in with our Back to Eden garden mulch and compost. She's been sticking him over here under these trees, but Zeke has been disturbing him when he was over here, so I don't know where she's gonna put him now. Yeah, she's been putting him right here under those trees, but I don't see him there, so we're gonna have to look a little bit more, see where he is. As you can see, the goats are starting to thin out these rocks, all the branches and stuff around them. Okay, so here, most of the herd down off these rocks. I see Daisy down there, so we're just gonna slowly move down these rocks and see if we can find him. I don't have a gimbal, so sorry if the camera's a little shaky. There they are. As you can see, we've got these huge boulders in here, which they absolutely love to play on. This is their natural habitat, to be in rocks. So I see the herd. No sign yet of Moses. Baby Moses, they're gonna keep moving through. See if we can see where she's putting in. Now over the next few weeks, we're gonna come down in here. We're gonna clear a lot of these sticks out. It's not optimal for the babies. It is good for the big ones, but babies are kind of struggling to get around a little bit. So, oh, here he is. Look at that. She had him tucked in underneath this rock, just chilling. Look at that. There he is. You can see he's just kind of hanging out. As long as he stays there, he should be safe. Mom's not too far away. And we're gonna leave him alone. Sometimes Mom knows best. So we're gonna leave him, and we'll see if he makes it back up to the top later. I've been up here cutting trees, literally drenched in sweat, like head to toe. So sorry for that, but just wanted to show you guys that little Moses made it back up. It's about 5 o'clock, and Daisy's bringing him up, so I'll switch the camera around here and show you guys. But just goes to show that I've been trying to intervene and, you know, bring him up, but he is good. There he is. She brought him up back to the herd. He's moving good. He's following her. So he's learning what he's supposed to do. So now the next step is for us to learn what we're supposed to do. We're learning, we're figuring out, we're a little cautious. We are a little gun shy because we lost one last week, but we're learning to trust them, they're learning to trust us, and that is life on a micro ranch. See you guys next time.